What is your position on the legalization of marijuana in Hawaii?
My position on the legalization of marijuana is I would wait until the federal government moves on it. And I would see how our legalized medicinal marijuana businesses actually pan out. You know, I was part of the legislature when we approved the legalization of medical marijuana dispensaries. And yes, many of you folks know that our family, my dad and a bunch of his friends, invested in a company to be one of those applicants for the permit, and they weren't awarded it. It is what it is. But I can tell you, for people that are suffering from serious illnesses, that are dying from cancer, that have depression, I can tell you, medicinal marijuana has been proven to be effective, and it's compassionate. But yet we have concerns about law enforcement. We have concerns about those products getting into the hands of our kids. And so I don't think that we've allowed the development and the full concerns of this industry to be proven as it was said in the legislature when we passed it. So as far as the legalization of recreational marijuana, I'm very open to it. I can tell you, I would urge the state to tax it to, oh gosh, to just tax it. What is a positive word? To tax the hell out of it. How's about that? And I can tell you, because it can generate revenue. You know, you take a look at our schools. We're struggling to fund our schools. We're backlogged on our infrastructure. You know, I can tell you why we can't even build new roads. When the Senate proposed a tax hike on fuel and weight tax to be able to build new roads and new CIP infrastructure, the House took a position that said no. And because of that, state highways, and I would like to tell you guys what you want to hear, that we're going to build new roads, but we don't have the money to do it. And so state highways, federal highways has taken the position that all CIP appropriations is just for repairs and maintenance on our current inventory. Projects like Hanapepe Bridge that needs to be done because that bridge is in threat of falling into that river. Fixing those Hanalei bridges because it's a public health and safety issue. So I'd be very open to it. I can tell you that from what we've seen, alcohol can be argued as being more detrimental to our society. But how do we get to our kids? You know, what is that message that we give to our kids? That's the one thing that brings concern to me. When we start legalizing things, are we normalizing it? Or are we getting the message to your kids saying that it's okay? So it's an issue that has me very torn. But I can tell you, it's a double-edged sword. And it's a very tough question. So my answer is that I'm on the fence and I'm undecided. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Now, same question.
Thank you. Before I answer that question, I just want to make a clarification regarding STEM. I know Derek City and I disagree. We don't disagree. What I said at the Dewey Forum was that obviously I support STEM. I support those industries, and I've participated in every single one of them since day one at the schools. What I said was that we have tried to lure these companies to Kauai. We have two beautiful tech centers right here on the west side that companies have they struggle to stay here because the cost of doing business is so high. The cost of housing is so high. So am I saying throw the baby out with the bathwater? Absolutely not. We do keep on. The problem is our kids are getting educated in these technology and industries and they're moving away. We're not successful in getting the companies to stay here. So I just want to make that clarification. Marijuana, very simple. It's not a double-edged sword for me. It's a one-edged sword. Absolutely not. I do not support the legalization of recreational marijuana. Absolutely not. I don't care what the federal government does. I really don't care. I can tell you, I come from the law enforcement background. I served 12 years in the Kauai Police Department. The marijuana of those days and the marijuana of today are two different things. Absolutely different things. Physiological changes in the brain from the marijuana that's been created today. The medical marijuana, I agree. There are some wonderful uses for medical marijuana. I've seen it with my own eyes. My brother has MS. He had the card. My mom had cancer. She never smoked it, but she got pills. My friend's wife has lung cancer, got the oil. Tremendous. The problem is the way the state set this up, the legislature. Anyone can get a card. Anyone can go into a doctor, pay, and it used to be $400, I hear now it's $200, tell them you got chronic back pain, you get a card. And now we have a dispensary on Kauai. So I apologize if I offend anyone, but that answer is very clear in my mind. It's no. Recreational marijuana, no. Medical marijuana, we need to really strengthen those rules so that the right people benefit. The right people have access to it. Not every single kid on the street. That's a touchy issue for me. You know, the argument about alcohol, that's irrelevant. We understand the dangers of alcohol, and that's just the nature of the beast. And to say, well, that one's not as bad or more dangerous, that's why we need to know. See, once we start using money as a justification to legalize bad things, then next it'll be prostitution. Who's the victim in a prostitution case? It's a victimless crime. You can generate a ton of money. What about gambling? Victimless crime, right? You gamble if you want, if you have the money. If you don't have the money, you can't gamble. My problem is this, is when we start using money as a justification to do things that'll change the way we know life, we are heading down the dangerous path. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.